Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to Valorant rostermania, and big news in the tier 2 landscape. Zombs, it seems, has potentially retired from competitive play, decided that his team with Stewie2K that they were forming is not going to go ahead. He's going to stay on Sentinels as a content creator and effectively hang up the sticks in terms of competing in professional play. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. Happy Thanksgiving to those of you in the US for yesterday. Hope you had a great day, and also hope Ye feels better soon, because apparently he's bedridden right now, so hopefully he gets back in business soon. Quick note on Xander, right, here he goes into practice with these 100 Thieves guys. I know they were joking around about this before, but of course, like, it's not like Cryo's going to be going anywhere from this team. But yeah, really it's the tier 2 side now, which is really kicking off at the moment, because we believe that the qualifiers for the Ascension tournament system, really, with the Challengers side, let's say, is coming up in just a few days' time. You guys have been speculating when it should be. The December the 5th date is still being thrown around. I imagine it's going to be later than that now, maybe more like mid-December, but nonetheless, it's important. Before we get to that, though, this is a big piece of news on Misfits Black, the female Misfits team, and Fluorescent, certainly the star of this team, has, parted ways with the roster. So what's going on? Have they dropped their best player? Highly unlikely. Probably she has been acquired or bought out elsewhere. Now, I believe she's only 16. Now, in Game Changers, I'm pretty sure you can play at 16 years of age. She didn't quite make it a Misfits back to the World Championship, but they had a pretty good run at the North American qualifier for it in the final tournament that they played in. And since then, we've talked about Fluorescent a little bit, actually. She's been involved in some drama on Twitter and stuff, but a very promising female player. Now, she's going to part ways with the Misfits roster here after joining back in April, but I think once she turned 16, then she could play for in the Game Changer series, and obviously had great success when she did. But I believe, I'm pretty sure there was an age limit on the VCT itself, which you probably have to be 18 for. So I can't imagine that she's going to be joining 100 Thieves or anything. But it might be that some of these big organizations are looking to sign female rosters, and that might be what's happening here. So this is what the article explains, that Fluorescent is going to explore her options elsewhere while they practice with Edith instead. But according to multiple sources, she is parting ways with the organization. So it doesn't seem to me like they've probably, they probably haven't kicked her, right? She's probably been bought out by another team. Doesn't really know yet where she's going to go, but she's still 16 for now, which probably means she can't potentially join, let's say, the Evil Geniuses bench. They need some more players on their bench. We know they have 7 players on their roster. They're starting 5, plus Reformed and Apoth on their bench. Then they're looking for 3 more players. They have that competition where anyone could just enter and try and get a spot on their bench. But, they've got a couple of other spots. They could bring in someone like Fluorescent to their team as well. But I'm not really sure that because she's only 16, she's actually allowed to do that. What it might be is that she's going to compete in Game Changers for another organization, because, we don't really know what the rules are in terms of whether teams are mandated to have Game Changers teams. But obviously, I'm sure a lot of organizations saw the World Championship in Berlin and thought, yeah, this got maybe more traction than they expected it to. Cloud9 White, of course. Now, some have said that C9 White are going to make a change to bring Fluorescent in. That might be the case. I don't know if it will be. I'm sure they feel like they were still a better team than they actually performed as back there in Berlin, when, of course, they lost to Shopify Rebellion to bow out of the tournament. But I think it's potentially more likely that it's one of these organizations, as Bo says, right, nobody will expect it. So this might be very difficult to predict. But, who knows if 100 Thieves or Sentinels or one of these kind of organizations that made it through to the franchise league is now thinking, you know what, let's bring in a Game Changers roster, because other organizations, Cloud9, G2 and others, have had success doing it over the last few months and gained a lot of traction through that avenue. They might have thought, you know what, let's build a team and let's poach Fluorescent off of Misfits Black to make this happen. So that might be what's going on. That might not be at all what's going on, but definitely stay tuned, because an interesting storyline developing over there. Quick note then on tier 2, just on Subrosa, because we saw the other day, and I'll share it for you guys in a second, that he's not currently listed on Flynn's spreadsheet of being on the TSM roster. Now, we saw back in October, he said, I'm still going to be on TSM probably, but they've allowed me to explore other options. So, he's still on TSM as a priority, but he's seeing what he can get. I'd be kind of surprised if he says this and is like, yeah, TSM want to keep me, but I'm looking for other options, and now TSM have just dropped him. The alternative is that if he's not on TSM anymore, he's got another or a better offer, which seems hard to imagine given the other organizations aren't really around the block right now, but it could be a possibility. So that's another piece of the puzzle here. As, of course, is Emil, who is going to be alongside Prod and Sinatraa and Shanks, and that team still looking for one for the qualifiers, which we believe are happening relatively soon. And that's the thing to me, the the qualifiers must be soon. The teams have to get locked down and ready to go and start practicing here, because if they don't, they'll fail the qualifiers, right? The teams that are together and are locked in and have been grinding together, they're going to have, 2, 3, 4 weeks potentially extra practice with each other than some of these teams will. Like at Nismo's team, for example, that's now locked in with apparently the former owner of Xset. Like, they've known what they're going to be for a long time. They can practice together, get ready. All the other chaos happening right now behind the scenes is not necessarily good for some of these rosters. And Zombs is part of it, right? He says last night on stream, I saw a clip of this actually yesterday, but I was like, yeah, I don't know if there's quite enough to talk about this yet, because he was basically saying in a clip that, like, yeah, I'm not leaving Sentinels, but now he's basically said it outright. He's not going to be competing. He's going to, obviously the team that he was trying to with Stewie wasn't maybe performing, or he just thought, you know what, I don't really want to do this, and if he was to do that, he would have to leave Sentinels probably and join another team. Sentinels, it doesn't seem like are going to have an academy roster, or maybe aren't allowed to have an academy roster, and therefore he would have to leave Sentinels to join another organization if they were to do that and compete in tier 2, and he doesn't feel like it's worth it, and is effectively going to retire from competition.
I'm just going to stay on Sen and just have a good relationship with them, because I've been on Sen since the beginning of Sen, since I had like 0 followers. No, I'm not going to compete again, bro. It's not worth it for me anymore. I have like opportunities that are better for the future and stuff. That are better in like every aspect than competing, I think. Bro, it's not my fault. I can't do anything. Am I that washed, or is it the game? No, because I was scrimming and I'm like owning everyone in scrims. Actually, it's gotta be ranked. It's gotta be ranked, bro. When I scrim, I'm like actually on everyone. I'm not even kidding. No, I'm not scrimming anymore, but I was scrimming for like a week, just because we had the team I was making had some potential, and we had some like potential where he's interested. But then I went to LA. And like I talked with the Sen owner a little bit, and then now I never want to leave Sen, so I'm just staying on Sen forever. Playing pro video games isn't what everyone thinks it is. You gotta realize how like impossible it is to actually have like a full team of 5 people that are all like on the same page together, and like top tier players that can be like a championship team. It's like 1 in a million. It's like actually impossible. Like every team just has too many problems all the time. Then like most of the time you don't even get like paid to where it's like even worth it to like spend like years of your life like grinding.
So I think it really is a shame that he's been pushed in this direction, to be honest. I mean, look, obviously there was the drama with ShahZaM and the starting team, and it's just really difficult for these players. But I mean, yeah, I think this is something we might see more and more of. Zombs, I thought, was a fantastic player on his day, really like an underrated piece of the success of that Sentinels team. And now, not long after his success here, he's going to be retiring. I think the key issue here is the fact that Riot clearly are not allowing these organizations, or the orgs just aren't going to do it, to field a kind of challenges tier 2 roster. Like, if Sentinels were allowed to have their own academy, Zombs could play on the academy, stay on Sentinels, no problem. But the fact that he would have to leave Sentinels to join another team, he's just like, well, it's just not really worth it, right? There's cooler things I can do. This organization did a lot for me, so why would I leave and play with another organization? Now, the team was meant to be the following here: Stewie2K, Brax, Zombs, Wardell, and we thought Raucus briefly. Now, Raucus might now be gone. Now, Zombs is also gone. So what's happening here? This is the chaos that I'm talking about. If Zombs has decided, as it seems like he has, to step away from the team, you know, it wasn't really working out, I'm just going to prefer to do content and stay on Sentinels and, not compete any longer, then probably the team wasn't looking too hot behind the scenes. But also, it now leaves that team in a bit of a chaotic situation. They've now lost Zombs. They're going to need to find someone else to replace Zombs on the team. Is Stewie2K, Braxton, Wardell going to stay as a team of 3? I don't know. Is Raucus going to come back as a player? Who knows, right? So, yeah, it's a messy one. And as I say, there are other teams, the likes of Shopify Rebellion or this new organization here with Nismo and co, and even the Guard, that potentially know their team, have been practicing with their team, and have been on the grind for quite some time, and they are going to be probably quite a way ahead of the other rosters by the time they get to this qualifier in what we believe is going to be a couple of weeks' time. And if it isn't a couple of weeks, teams like Stewie2K's team with Zombs now gone, like, they have very little practice in comparison to these other rosters, like even Sonic's, right, that know their their team, they know what they're going to do, and they've been there for quite some time and have been looking in and practicing for a minute, puts them in a tricky spot, right? But yeah, what do you guys think about this whole Zombs question mark, right? It's unfortunate to me the way this has worked out, and I think it'd be a different story if Riot were allowing, and you know, we saw that even Shroud and Zombs and others were talking about this, and even Sinatraa was like, well, you know, why can't they do academy rosters? And if they're allowed a Game Changers team, I don't really understand why they shouldn't be allowed an academy. Yes, there's the potential implication that the academy might then qualify for the franchise league, and what does that mean? You know, another organization would have to take over that spot, but it does mean that players like Zombs, who probably would have still competed maybe if he got the right opportunity that made sense for him and didn't have to leave Sentinels, would have kept going. But now, you know, a pretty legendary career, to be honest, is going to be at an end here in Valorant, and it's unfortunate to see. I was looking forward to seeing Zombs have a part to play in the Challengers ecosystem, but it seems almost certain now that's no longer going to be the case. So very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. One thing just to finish out the video here with from Valin from the Guard. Again, that team is definitely going to be ready to go by the time the qualifiers finally get announced. Happy Thanksgiving. Also, remove Fracture and bring back Split. So I don't know when Split's going to return. Certainly, I thought for the new year they would do it. But that's the thing. If there's qualifiers coming soon, like, are they maybe waiting to change the map set around? Because Split, of course, were removed a little while ago now. And I am expecting it to come back maybe with a few tweaks and changes as well. And but still, what map's going to go? Is Fracture going to go? But if they start the qualifiers for challenges on a certain map set, then will they have enough time to change it before the season begins? I guess we'll see about that one, because I would be very surprised if we go into the first event in Sao Paulo next year and we're still running exactly the same meta, exactly the same map set that we presently have. And Valorant wants some changes, and I'm sure Riot are thinking about it as well, going into franchising and with the World Championship concluding a month or so ago. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you are new, take care, and I'll see you next time.